Welcome back to Secret Weapons. My name is Mark Johnston. If this is your first time here, this is a YouTube channel where we do gear demos and reviews, as well as studio tips and tricks for leveling up your writing, playing, and production from the perspective of a guitar player working out of a studio. If that's the kind of thing that would appeal to you, I would love it if you hit that subscribe button and stick around for future videos. Today, we are taking a look at these new microphones from Warm Audio, the Fen-Tone Ribbon mics. Before we get into anything, a huge thank you to Nick Rabin of the band Contemporary Girlfriend for coming in and letting me engineer him playing live drums on that song. Contemporary Girlfriend is a really cool band here in the Sacramento area. I highly recommend you check them out. I will link them in the description down below. Now, if you heard the name Fen-Tone or looked at the shape of these microphones and had kind of pattern recognition alarms go off in your head, well, that's well founded. The Fen-Tone Ribbon microphone was originally built by B&O in the 1950s and is, in its own right, a legendary and sought-after ribbon mic whose now familiar shape has been iterated on in the intervening decades. And this week, Warm Audio has introduced their modern interpretation of the Fen-Tone ribbon mic, as we see here, with its sleek capsule design with the ribbon in the middle, with these two magnet wings on the sides, offering both off-axis sound rejection, as well as better stability and durability for the ribbon between them. Just for some quick context, here is me speaking directly into the front of the microphone, and as we move around to the side for side off-axis rejection. But beyond just being a recreation of a famous instrument ribbon microphone of the 1950s, Warm has also modernized it in certain ways. The design features custom corrugated Japanese ribbon, as well as rare earth neodymium magnets in the wings. Now, I don't know what any of that means, but the mic does sound good. But beyond just being a microphone that offers a lot of great vintage vibe, it's been modernized in some really interesting ways. It's obviously a pretty durable ribbon mic, especially as far as ribbon mics go, being able to withstand reasonably high SPL levels, giving it a lot of strength as a drum overhead, which we used it for in this video, as well as on guitar cabinets. It's also been modernized with two additional really high value things. One is this now has an inline Cinemag custom transformer in the microphone, as well as a bypassable lifter circuit, allowing the Fen-Tone to be operated as a passive ribbon microphone, or you can switch it to the plus 48 side. And what that does is it adds a lifter circuit for plus 26 dB of gain, totally clean, uncolored gain when phantom power is applied. Now, it is important to note at this point in the video, you do not want to apply phantom power to your ribbon microphones when they are passive mics. So if it is in vintage mode, you will damage and wear out the ribbon quickly if you apply phantom power to it when you shouldn't. But when it is in that lifter mode, it basically creates this 26 dB gain increase on the mic without bringing up the noise floor. And one of the big high value things there is softer acoustic instruments, or like in this context, me speaking. I don't talk very loud when I'm in my studio. I don't project very strongly. And so to get a kind of healthy level from my voice into a microphone like this, I need to normally push my preamps pretty hard. But on this mic on my right, your left, we have that plus 48 switch engaged with phantom power from my WA-273 first channel. And that's allowing me to get a lot more volume from this microphone without having to push the gain on the preamps nearly as hard, allowing me to get less preamp coloration and a cleaner overall signal from my voice. And the reason this mic is here too as well is because this one is in vintage mode, and as a result, I'm running my preamps quite a bit hotter to match these two levels. So let's go ahead and shoot out a quick comparison right now. This is my microphone in phantom mode with that lifter engaged. And this is my microphone in vintage mode, pushing the Warm Audio WA-273 much hotter to kind of match levels with the original microphone. For loud sources, that vintage mode is awesome. I use vintage mode on the drum overheads as well as guitar cabinets and that bass cabinet. And for the acoustic guitars on that intro, I had both of these in lifter mode, allowing me to get a nice clean take from my acoustics in stereo with these two microphones, pushing my WA-273s just hard enough to give me some nice Neve style coloration, but really allowing the kind of character and vibe of these microphones to really operate in their own strengths and in their own ways. There is something really beautiful to a good ribbon mic on a good sounding source. And I really enjoyed the process of experimenting with these on various instruments for that intro song. So rather than just putting these in front of a guitar cabinet and playing for the next 15 to 25 minutes, let's be real, 45 minutes. Instead, we're going to take the stems from that intro song, all of the things that we used as sources for these microphones, and we are going to play back the full final mix, stripped down to just a soloed version of that instrument, and then the dry, unprocessed version of just what the microphone picked up. So let's go ahead and give the Fen-Tones a listen on various sources. Starting, of course, with electric guitars. For the first section of the song, we actually double-tracked my Morgan PR12 and my Benson Monarch in stereo using one mic on each cabinet and hard panning them out with the Strymon Dig and the Strymon Flint to give us kind of nice wide delay and reverb. And then for the distorted guitars, we switched to a double tracking format, playing my Strat into my Morgan PR12 with a 1981 Inventions DRV on one channel and my Jazzmaster into the DRV into the Benson Monarch on the other, still hard panning left and right. So let's give a listen to some of those guitars in the full mix, soloed up, and then unprocessed. And just for reference, for those stereo guitars at the beginning and those lo-fi guitars, both microphones are about 6 to 8 inches off the respective cabinets. And for the distorted guitars, we brought it up to about 4 inches off. Next up, let's give a listen to the Fen-Tone on bass. For our signal chain for that, I was playing my Jennings short scale bass into a Milkman Beekeeper, which is an 18-watt Bassman style guitar amp. And so because of that, we took the Fen-Tone and we put it right up maybe a half an inch to an inch off of the grill cloth, but far off axis of the center point of the cone, allowing us to kind of reject some of that high end and really lean into the woolly, warm low end of the bass. Let's give that a listen in full context, processed, and dry. Next up, let's give a listen to Nick's drums on that track. We have the Fen-Tones as a kind of wide set stereo pair of overheads pretty high up. I was trying to capture a decent image of the entire kit, not dropping them low enough that I would really only get cymbals. For a kind of more modern sound, we also went ahead and mic'd up the entire kit as well with an internal mic in the kick, a Transformerless 57 on the snare, a small diaphragm condenser on the hat, and condenser mics on the toms. For the final mix, I also blended in a snare sample as well as a kick sample at about 5 to 7 dB below the live snare and kick as well, just to kind of fill out the final mix a little bit better. But as we listen to the samples for the overheads, we will give a listen to the drums in the context of the full mix, then just the drums themselves processed, then just the overheads processed, and then just the overheads unprocessed. let's wrap things up by giving a listen to those stereo tracked acoustic guitars on that song. So it is a single passive acoustic the whole way through, but with both microphones set up at kind of left and right hand positions, offset from each other and from the guitar just enough to give me a little bit of stereo width without running into phase issues. And I have to say that I was really floored by how good these sounded from about 8 to 10 inches away on an acoustic guitar with that phantom power boost applied to both microphones. It allowed me to not have to drive too much saturation or coloration from my preamps while still getting a nice, healthy, and robust acoustic sound. Really, really impressed with them on the acoustic for this song. Let's give it a listen in the full context of the mix, soloed up, and then try.